Hi everyone, welcome back to Earl Grey Books. I'm Ellie and today this is the second part of my Eurovisionathon vlog for 2025. So I just finished filming the first part, so I'm not going to talk about the books that I just talked about in that one. I'll talk about them later, hopefully when I finish them. But I do have another book that I started as of the 1st of May, and I wanted to talk about that in this little part here. And that is The Fiancé Dilemma by Helen. So this is my book for Spain, and once I find it, this was a Christmas gift this year from Helen, so we decided we would buddy read it together. And I got a message from Helen the other day saying, I'm good to start when you are. And we've started. I'm 91 pages in. I was enjoying it at the start, like the first 20 pages. I was like, yeah, okay, this could be good. It's gonna be quick. Nothing too serious. Could be good to read around this sort of time when I am kind of struggling a little with things. And I said sort of the same to Helen of like, oh, I think this will be a fast read. And Helen kind of shot back with like, oh, I'm on page 80 and I'm not super into it yet. And I was like, oh boy. And then I read some more last night and I'm 91 pages into it, and boy oh boy do I know what Helen's talking about. Whew, this is not great. Let's put it that way. I liked the Spanish Love Deception. I know that that's kind of, you know, it's a book talk book and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was fun. That's really my only thoughts on it. But this one is a whole other thing. For one, Helen and I have established that we're pretty sure this is the second book in a companion series, because there keeps being... That didn't make sense. There are references to things that are like, okay, if I was a fan, I would probably know what this is. Like, this is quite obviously another book. Neither of us have read that one, so yep. It's also just really awkward and uncomfortable between the characters, and like, yeah, it's fake dating. They've like only just met, and we're not very far in. But it's just like so uncomfortable to the point where I'm like, I feel uncomfortable. I feel uncomfortable in my bones reading this. I feel like it's like secondhand embarrassment. I'm like, I can't even look at this. So that's been fun. I am still... What are you doing? Fletchy's just having a really great time. I'm still gonna keep going with it, basically. Hoping, depending on how tired I am tonight, that I might be able to read a little bit more. And I don't know. We're gonna see, but hopefully over this weekend I might be able to get some good reading done. I'm hoping maybe I'll be able to probably not finish anything this weekend, but get close to finishing something of one of the three things that I'm reading. Or maybe I'll just start something. Are you okay? I think you're literally chasing a bit of your own fur. Yeah, or maybe I might just start something completely new. We'll see. But I will catch you all when I am back and have things to talk about, as per usual. I feel like you are like majorly tilting down, but I don't know how to fix that right now. So we're gonna keep it like this. It is Tuesday, the 6th of May. Yesterday, I finished a book. So I finished off The Great Camouflage by Susan Césaire. This was my book for France. I don't really have a whole lot to say about it right now. These are like essays from a like literary journal called Tropiques. So there's like only a few essays actually from Susan Césaire. It's only from 1941 to 1945. So there's like 4 or 5 of hers, and then there's like this huge introduction and then a couple things written by other people, and I definitely need to take some time and think about my thoughts and feelings around her actual writing. So I don't have a whole lot to say here. I did really like at the end, there was a poem by her daughter, and I really liked that. It was a poem that she'd written about her mother, Suzanne, and so I really liked that. It was good. I felt like I learnt more from that poem than I learnt from like the essays on her. Like, it's just that kind of personal connection and that love that she obviously had. She obviously had for her children, and it was really nice. So I've done that. I have been reading some other things. I realized that I forgot to tell you that I started my book for Greece, which was the audiobook of Last Scene in Santorini by Vivian Conroy. This is the second book in the series. I think I've listened to the first 2 hours of this, and I have like 8 hours to go. I haven't really been listening to it over the last few days, mostly because I didn't really leave the house at all last week. So I was not listening to it on the way to work. Hopefully I will do that a little bit in the next few weeks. I would really like to finish it because I do have the 3rd book on my TBR, but also like physically on my TBR. So it would be nice to take that off. It's an interesting one so far. I like the setup, and that's pretty much all that's happened, because I am not really that far in. I think it's about 10 hours, so yeah, there's that. And then last night I started His Grace the Duke by Emily Rath. This is the 2nd book in the Second Son series. I had absolutely no plans to start this, and then last night I just really wanted to read something that was easy and that I knew I would enjoy right from the start. I didn't want something that would take me a little bit to get into. I just wanted something that I could just jump into and read and enjoy it from the start. So I did that. I'm not sure how far I got through in terms of percentage. I did not think to check that, but I was about 8 chapters in. Yeah, really enjoying it. And I think depending on whether I actually finish it, this will be my book for the UK, I think, this year, just because I wanted something fun to read and something, as I said, that I knew I'd enjoy. So that was what I went with, and it's proving to be a good choice so far. I'm hoping to read a bit today because I have the day off today in between, and then I have a couple of days of work in a row, so I thought that it would be nice today to do some reading, and we'll see how we go with it. And yeah, I will catch you all when I can. I think it's been like maybe a week or something now. It is the 15th of May. The readathon is almost over, and I have a few things to tell you about. It's exciting. So first things first, since we spoke last, I finished 3 books. I don't know where that came from, but I finished 3 books. So the first one was The Fiancé Dilemma by Elena Armas, which of course I was reading for Spain, and I was buddy reading this with Helen. Oh, this was a journey. So the first, I don't know, maybe 100 pages of this, I was not feeling it. Neither was Helen, to be honest. I don't know, I liked the first like little bit, and then as I moved on, I was like, okay, I don't know about this. Then I really liked the middle. I thought it was really good. It was a fun romance. It was really quick to read. Like, I read most of it within like, I don't know, the span of a couple hours. Like, I didn't really want to put it down, which is always a good thing. And then towards the end, I started hating it. I don't know, the last, I don't know, maybe 50 pages, I was just so done with this. I was so over it. I felt like the ending was just, yeah, that's exactly how I felt, Perth. Yeah, I don't know, I just was kind of over it and was just like, I just don't care. And I want to be finished. And so I think I'm going to give it about a 3.5 because I did really like that middle section. Had I not liked the middle, this easily would have been a 1 or a 2. So, but it's done. And then I thought a couple of days later, I was kind of on a roll having finished that one. And so I also finished Slaying the Shadow Prince by Helen, which was my book for Australia. I think I had like 100, I don't know, 150 pages left maybe. I really enjoyed this for the most part. I don't know, towards the end I got a bit bored. I don't know. I guess as well there was just kind of this like, I just wanted to be finished reading, and I don't know. I still enjoyed it. I just think I wasn't in the mood to take it slow. I just wanted to like move through it and finish it and be able to mark it off. And I mean, I did get there, so that's good, I guess. And I have really liked Helen Shower's books in the past, and I think I will continue to enjoy them in the future. I think that this one, I think I would have enjoyed it more had I not read the first book in the kind of, I don't know, this is like the prequel to that series. If I'd not already read the first one, I think I would have enjoyed it more, but kind of knowing a couple of things that I did from that book, it made some of these things not hit as well as they would have. Anyway, it's been read, and yeah, I think I will reread that first book in the other series, and I think I will enjoy them and blah blah blah. Anyway, so that's book number 2. And number 3 I didn't even get to tell you about because I read it over the span of 2 days, and they were 2 days that I didn't have time to film. So I read The Balkan Express by Slavenka Drakulic. This could actually mark off a couple of countries. It could mark off Croatia because the author is Croatian. Also, possibly Slovenia because it kind of talks a little bit about Slovenia. I used it to mark off Serbia because it's talking about the kind of Croatian, Serbian kind of war around like the dissolution of Yugoslavia and everything like that. And I'd never marked off Serbia before, so I wanted to use it for Serbia rather than Croatia. I feel really good about having marked off Serbia because I've never found a book that I have wanted to read before. I read a book from this author last year that I enjoyed, and this one was the same. It's kind of like a mix of like an essay and like a short story sort of thing. These are all her personal thoughts and experiences, but it's kind of written in a way that isn't necessarily narrative, but there is sort of a story feel to them, I guess. And yeah, I ended up enjoying it. This was nice and quick. This was like 164 pages. It was reasonably quick. The essays are all usually just a few pages long, so it was kind of nice to dip in and out of them between doing other things. And those are the 3 books I finished. Now, I'm really excited to say that I think I'm going to finish 2 more before the readathon ends. So, I have still been reading away at His Grace the Duke by Emily Rath. This is going to be my book for the UK. I am now 60% of the way through this one, and it's Thursday. I think I'm going to finish by Saturday. In fact, I might even finish it today. We'll see. I'm absolutely loving this one. It is so fun. It is the second book in the series, and I loved the first one, so it's really good so far. And I'm kind of sad that it's going to end though, because it's just a 2-parter, so this is the last part, and I'm kind of sad that that'll be the end of the story. It gives me another book that I will have finished. The other one, I started this yesterday just because I wanted to read something fun. I wanted something fantasy, kind of light, and I wanted to read, but I didn't want to read any of the books that were on my Eurovisionathon TBR. And I thought that a good way to kind of counteract that and not feel bad about not reading something would be to read something from my rare TBR. So I ended up picking up Drown the Sea by Alicia Kemp. This is the first book in a series called The Dying Gods. And what do you know? It's set in Greece. It's set on Santorini, and it is like a time travel, but it's to like ancient Santorini, with the, I don't know, Mayans. And it's really interesting. It is also reverse harem, so I'm just gonna say that because it hasn't gotten too intense yet, but it's a series and I'm sure it's gonna ramp it up. I love a good reverse harem. That's what His Grace the Duke is as well. So just having a good time. I am 70% of the way through this one. I started it yesterday and I am obsessed with it. I am enjoying it so much and I can't wait to see where this one will end and where the next book in the series will pick up. Yeah, very much enjoying this, and it's definitely going to be one that I end up pre-ordering for Babe, which isn't until October, unfortunately. So I'm going to have to wait a while, but definitely enjoying this one, and can't wait to see how it ends. So I'm hoping I'll be able to finish both of those by Saturday, and they'll count for the readathon. And if they don't, I'm still like, this is the most amount of books that I've read in a month this entire year. In fact, it might even be the most I've read in a month since like February last year. So we're just going with it. We're gonna go into it, we're gonna read it, we're gonna have fun, and yeah, hopefully I finish them for the readathon, and if not, they still get finished in May. So I think it's a win. I will not have time to come back on Saturday. I have a very busy day this Saturday, but a very exciting day. So I will be back next week when I have some time, and hopefully I can tell you about these two to end the readathon. So I'll hopefully see you then. So the readathon is over. Sad about it, but also kind of excited to go back and to be able to read things off my shelf, because I feel like this round that didn't really work out. It is what it is, huh? But I did finish my last two books before the readathon ended. I finished them both on... No, I finished one on the Thursday and the other on Friday morning. So I finished His Grace the Duke by Emily Rath, which was my book for the UK. This was fun, but I didn't enjoy it as much as the first book in the series. I'm going to say something controversial for me. And that is that I feel like there was too much smut in this book. To the point where it was just like added extra smut scenes, and it was just kind of, I don't know, made the book a little bit longer and it didn't really need to be, and it didn't add anything to the story. And usually I don't care about that. I'm just like, whatever. But it just kind of felt like a repeat of the same stuff. So it was still good, but I didn't love it as much as I loved the first one. And the second one, Drown the Sea, was fantastic. I really enjoyed this. It ended on like such a, not really a cliffhanger, but just such a like interesting point where it was like, I really want to know what happens next. I will definitely be continuing the series and pre-ordering from Alicia Kemp for Rare, but we'll talk about that more in another video. But for now, that's it. I wanted to quickly address some of the other books that I mentioned and I started and I just never talked about again. So there was my original book for Greece, Last Scene in Santorini by Vivian Conroy. I started listening to this one as an audiobook. I just didn't feel like listening to an audiobook this month, and that's really it. I think I'm gonna read this one anyway, like separately. I don't know, maybe I'll pick it up for Junior Eurovisionathon, but I think I'll probably get a physical copy from the library. But I was enjoying how much I read. I think I got like 15 or 20% of the way through. What else? Oh, A Death in Malta I was talking about. I was talking about how much I was enjoying it. I decided to return it to the library unfinished because I felt like the book just deserved a little bit more. I needed to read it at a slower pace, and it was, I came to the end of the readathon, and I only had a few days left, and I just didn't want to rush through it. Felt like it was one of those books that like deserved to be read slowly and for me to dedicate my time to it, and I just didn't have the time to do that. So again, we'll probably pick this up next year, and hopefully I will still enjoy what I read. And then one that I didn't really talk about, but in my TBR I mentioned I Who Have Never Known Men. Is it Jacqueline Chapman, maybe? Hartman or something like that. Anyway, this was originally my book for France, and then someone left me a comment letting me know that the author was actually Belgian, so I switched it to be my book from Belgium. I found the audiobook on Spotify and I started listening to it, but it's definitely one that I think I will get more of if I read it physically. So I think again for next year, I will maybe try and buy myself a copy or try and find a copy in the library, and read it physically instead. I think I'll enjoy it more. I listened to the introduction and then a bit of the first chapter, but the introduction made me really, really interested in the book, and has made it sound incredible. So I definitely am going to try and find a copy if I can, and it will be probably my pick for Belgium next year. I think that's everything for this round of the readathon. I don't know, I had big hopes going into this year that I was gonna like read all this stuff and it was gonna be amazing. And it just didn't quite happen like that. As I mentioned, I've just been in this bad health flare. I have a lot of other stuff going on, and some mental health stuff as well, and also some good stuff. I just haven't been dedicating the time to reading that I used to. But in saying that, I managed to finish 7 books. And I think that's pretty good considering that is almost like half the books that I've read this year. So I feel pretty good about having gotten through 7, considering the amount that I have been reading. It also means that May is my best reading month that I've had so far this year, and I think probably in a good year, maybe longer, as well. So I will happily take that. And that's it. That's the end of Eurovisionathon 2025. As always, I'd like to take this moment to thank Helen for hosting and for being her usual incredible self, and also for just being an amazing friend. And I hope you had fun if you participated. I still had a lot of fun, even though I wasn't participating to the level that I thought I would be. And I'm glad to have gotten through a couple of books. And I marked off some new countries. I marked off... Where did I mark off? Czechia and Serbia. So I'm happy. My goal was to hit for 3 new countries, but I'll take 2. I will take 2 happily. And that's it. I will catch you all in the next video. No idea when it's going to be, but I think it'll probably be my haul from Babe this year. We'll see. But I'll see you all soon.